Hello, hello, hello. What's going on? This is Podrey. And right now, I'm watching 7 Days to Die. and before I get into this, I want to thank everybody who has been watching the videos. I want to thank all the subscribers. I want to thank you because you help make YouTube recognize my channel, recognize my name, all that kind of good stuff right there. Content creators, we have to thank our audience, our subscribers, our viewers, because you are what help us and our channels grow. And you also help us grow as individuals, as a person. Um, I am a motivator. I try to. It's not even a thing of trying. I just want folks to grow individually. Anyway, it's all about being careful and learning from lessons that other people made. They say history. If you don't know it or whatever, you're doomed to repeat it. And one of the things about history that's going to get us straight into what this topic is that we have been on this planet for a very long time. And for a very long time, there has been one thing or another that has plagued mankind, and it's been ourselves. We've had to survive against the weather. We've had to survive against the beasts, animals, but mainly our worst enemies has been other humans. And a moment ago, I was watching an episode of The Arrow, and one of the characters, one of the characters was like, "You want us to split up? Haven't you ever seen a horror movie?" Now, a lot of times when I watch different TV shows or different movies, I'm like, whoever wrote this, make it seem like these people had never seen TV before or had never watched the news before, because they're constantly making little stupid ass mistakes, preferably the type of mistakes that's gonna get them killed. And I'm like, why do these people who write these movies on TV shows write it to where the characters are just ignorant as fuck? So back to the whole saying of, haven't you ever seen a horror movie? I had always thought that movies, especially, have been written for a reason, especially movies that come from novels. So it's like a person wrote a book, other people liked the book, and someone wanted to turn it into a movie. Alright. I also have to believe that if a person is writing something, they're getting their content, they're getting their ideas from something else. Because best believe, there's nothing new under the sun. If you haven't ever heard of that phrase before, look at it like this. There's nothing organic, there's nothing really original. So, damn near every idea that someone has, it sprung up from somebody else. Something in their past or something that they had seen that inspired that idea of theirs. Originality has been lost to mankind for a long, long time. Just think about, when's the last time we really celebrated inventors? You know what I mean? When's the last time we really had even acknowledged somebody who have invented something? Now, mind you, I should take that back, because what's that TV show, Shark Tank, where you got people who have invented something, and they're trying to, you know, get it, their item or whatever they created, into a more marketable situation. So I can't say that people aren't inventing things. I can't say that at all. Let me take that back. My bad. But I have to believe that we are living in a horror. A type of horror that you never know when something is going to creep up and kill you, harm you in some kind of way. It's like, what if you're riding down the street in your own personal vehicle and you're following the street laws, the laws of, of driving and things like that, but somebody else decides not to follow the laws of the road, and an accident happens, and it's not your fault. You know what I mean? It's fucked up how things like that happen. Or let's say you're in school and someone decides to come there and shoot the school up. Let's say there's so many different situations. When you watch the news, you see people getting fucked up all over the place. Alright? For everybody who practices religion and use God as a reason why there's good and evil, it's like, the fuck? How can you celebrate something that is going to do you harm? Are you going to invite someone that you don't trust into your home? Are you going to invite someone that you don't know about into your home? Are you going to invite someone that you've never seen before, into your home? Well, I can't say that, because think about all the technicians and tech supports and all that we invite into our houses to fix our internet and our cable. So, or different situations like that. So damn it, I gotta take that back too. I'm going off the cuff. I didn't write anything down. I'm just going off of the idea that, it's a shit show in the world right now. Look at all the people that have been warned about COVID, but yet they're not doing everything they can do to keep themselves from getting sick. Next thing you know, they're in a hospital and they're dying and shit. So when I think about the whole idea of us living in a horror, it's like, or a horror type movie, it's like, man, there's different red flags out there that we should be paying attention to, so that way we don't fall victim to somebody else's bullshit, including ourselves, because we can be our own worst enemies. And I told you, I'm all about growth. I want us to be the best people that we can possibly be. And in order for us to do that, we have to sit back and recognize our own flaws. And once we recognize our flaws, we gotta do everything that we can do to keep ourselves from falling into a position to where we are harming ourselves. Okay, think about when people get Alzheimer's, they end up putting them into a place, into a facility where people can look out for their well-being, right? So I'm constantly looking at everybody who's looking at life and they're like, I got it, I got it, I got it. I don't need help, I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? So next thing you know, they're getting fucked up by something that they didn't have any plans for. You know, look at all the people that have passed away and they didn't have a will, and next thing you know, they got and family in-laws who are fighting over their property. You know what I'm saying? It's bad enough that we are a society of consumers, but after a person dies, you know, the materialistic shit is fought over. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I think I saw something, an article that was talking about Marvin Gaye's, one of his, I think his third wife. And I didn't go any further from that, but obviously I had to imagine that she's fighting over something materialistic. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, what's left after a person dies, and Marvin Gaye has been dead for a long time. You know what I mean? It's kind of like all these musicians who die and they got a catalog of music that's worth a lot of money. Somebody's going to want that money. Somebody's going to want that catalog. So there's going to be a fight for it some kind of way. The weather's not going to do anything with that catalog of music. Nature, you know what I'm saying? Weather, nature, all that. Yeah, nature, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't need anything that is consumable, that is materialistic, but humans do. So circling all this back to, you know, we're living in a horror, like a horror film. There was a movie called The Road, and there's a father and his child trying to get to, you know, one part of the country to the other part of the country, thinking that things will be better for them, and they're going through all these different obstacles just to get there. And the end of the movie is it's wishful thinking type of it's a wishful thinking type of an ending, but in so many ways it kind of happens like that. I used to watch these videos of disabled people and the families that took them in to try to help them out, or, you know, like through adoption, or you have folks who are going through the process of being adopted by people who just say they care. Next thing you know, they're getting fucked up. It's like the other day I saw this video from Willie D. He's a hip hop artist from the group the Ghetto Boys, and he was talking about these two men. I don't know whether they was in a relationship or whether they were family, but they were prostituting their kids, their sons, or a son. No, I think both sons. And you gotta think about how many kids are brought into this world, and even as infants, they're getting physically abused, or as children, they're getting mentally abused and physically abused, sexually abused, things like that. Kids who are being sold into um, human trafficking. It's just, think about that trilogy, Hostel, the movie Hostel, and you think you're going to another country and to tour it, and you being a tourist, you thinking you're going to be safe because you might have planned out your destination and things like that. Next thing you know, someone drugs you, and you're being sold off into human trafficking for somebody else's profit or for somebody else's pleasure, period. So it's like, man, not only do we have to deal with other humans, we also have to deal with the germs and bacteria, these viruses. This is 2023, and we got 3 or 4 viruses that's floating around. And like I said, even though people are getting warnings of wearing a mask and getting the best quality mask that you can get in order to keep from catching or spreading these viruses and bacteria. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when you think about someone saying, man, why are we going to split up? If 4 people are walking into a house to investigate it, to find out, if there's somebody there that's going to cause all of you some harm, it's like staying in a group would be wiser. It's like, why separate? Because when you find that one person that's in the house, all 4 of you can fuck that one person up. But when you split your numbers up, that one person might have some fighting skills or some killing skills, you know what I'm saying? That's going to take out 2 people. But 4 people, you know what I'm saying, you can blindside that person, you know what I'm saying, in all kind of different angles. So it's like, they say that it takes a village to raise a child. And nowadays, we can't depend hardly on anybody, or we can't depend on other people hardly at all. So we have to pick and choose the type of people that we're going to have around us, especially if we have children. If you give a fuck about your child, you're going to be careful about who is in your life and who's in your child's life. So it's like, man, I want people to be safe. I want people to be able to live with, or live in some type of peace with some type of harmony. I know that heaven, the idea of what heaven is, can be here on earth when we're happy, when we're having a good time. But then the idea of what a hell is still right here within this life as well. Because there's torture, there's conniving, people who are conniving, there's games and all kind of trickery and deception, there's lies, theft, murder, you know what I'm saying, there's greed, there's envy, there's jealousy, there's all kind of things that trigger another person to cause harm to another person. So I know we got to try to find some happiness in some kind of way. I know we got to try to find some type of peace and harmony in some kind of way. I know it's hard to be by yourself. I was watching a video of a young lady. Her profession is teaching handicapped children, people with disability, online. So she is living in a bus because she also likes to travel and see the countryside. And so she converted a bus into a place where she can lay her head. She got a shower in that bus. She can cook her meals on that bus. And she has, storage space to store all of her needs, clothes and dishes and, things that you need to survive. Solar panels and different things like that. So it's like, I would want her to at least know some self-defense. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're, like the term of fighting in a phone booth. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's up in your face. You gotta know wrist locks. You gotta know how to manipulate somebody's fingers. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go for the eyes. You gotta go for the throat. If it's a man, you gotta go for his nuts. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, it's just, self-defense helps in so many ways. And then the problem with that is, there's always gonna be somebody who's a lot better than you. A badass. You know what I'm saying? You might be good, but there's always gonna be somebody out there that can whoop your ass. You know what I'm saying? They got more training in fighting and combat than what you do. So there's not 100% ratio on self-defense. But to wish and to hope that anyone who's traveling around the world or living like that by themselves, to hope that they're safe and they have some type of self-defense knowledge, so that way they can keep themselves safe. But I am a hermit / social butterfly. I like to spend time to myself, but I'm wise enough to know that, I need to have folks around me, even when I don't want to have anyone around me. It is what it is. And it's better to be in a stable relationship with a person or with some people in order for me to be safe as well, because you're also safe in numbers. So there's so many different ways of looking at the situation of having some peace and harmony. I've been making videos expressing my idea on people getting together in a community without having city and state assistance. Because unless you have the government and politics in your life, I think the better you'll be. When it comes down to the articles or laws, period, I think that shit, whatever is outdated, need to be redone. Like the Constitution. You know what I'm saying? Why the fuck are we gonna live by the laws that slavers, constituted? You know what I'm saying? They have all been about capital, about gaining money, about, preserving their livelihood. You know what I'm saying? Especially slave owners. It's all about shit. I want to be comfortable and lazy. So what the fuck? How are we gonna continue, or how are we gonna have a happy life if we're not a person with that type of mentality? It doesn't make any sense. So get rid of all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's chaotic. It really is. We have to unthink the bullshit that we was taught, the bullshit that we was raised up to believe. Because times have changed and evolution always wins. Everybody who learns from the past. You know what I'm saying? They evolve into better people. It's like, look at how there used to be a TV show about doomsday preppers. Look at how that show isn't on anymore. And then you have to wonder why they don't want people to know how to get prepared for any kind of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But let me get off of here. My main message is that we need to get ourselves prepared in all kind of different ways to, to live in some type of peace, in some type of harmony, you know what I'm saying, for ourselves, with other people, and for other people. We just have to, because we can't completely do it by ourselves. And we're all going to need some help here and there. So it's like, man, I want you to have a good day. I want you to have a good night. I want you to have a good morning. I want you to be the best person that you can be. Love who you can. Don't force your love on other people, because everybody don't deserve the type of love that you have. And you have to be picky and choosy about who you try to give your emotions and your time and energy to. But my name is Podrey, and I'm going to get out of here. Let me leave you with this disclaimer. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I'm not the dumbest either. I've done my research on some things, but there's a lot out there that I still need to do research on. What I need you to do is to question everything that I'm talking about and do your own research and come up with your own opinion. And most importantly, I need you to share your opinion and your research and knowledge with other people, so that way we can be a better society. Alright, I'm going to get out of here. Peace.